Chapter 5, Using Visualization Techniques. Part of the overall mission of Solidworks software is visual geometry. Visualizing 3D CAD data is more than seeing shaded solids and shiny surfaces. It includes being able to do interior, exterior at the same time and using sections, transparency, wireframes, other tools. I think Solidworks takes it much further, just being able to see things in 3D. You get some of the parts assembly wireframe with other transparent, other are opaque. You see the part of a reflective appearance. You create the section of views in the parts assembly with visualized internal detail. The chapter will show you the important capabilities, but will explain how to use the Solidworks, maybe even change the way you use tools or looking at model tasks. In this chapter, we will learn to customize view, use view tools, view parts, and assemblies. Make the best of real view, use display states and part assemblies, apply edge settings to display features clearly, sort items in assembly. Alright, shows the manipulating the view. One of the most important SolidWorks in manipulating view, figure 5.1, show the heads-up view toolbar. Easy way to access most visualization tools, something you'll do more frequently than any function in SolidWorks. So learning to do it efficiently, effectively is very important, whether you're looking at it, rotating the model, rotating the point of the view around the model. The easiest way to rotate the part is hold down the middle mouse button and scroll wheel and move the mouse. If your mouse does not have the middle button or the scroll wheel, you can use the MMB. You can use rotate view tool in the menus. Add view, modify, rotate view, or view with the right mouse button menu. Heads up view toolbar can be customized, disabled using the same method used for all other toolbars and through tools customizing dialog box. Figure 5.1 uses heads-up view tools bars easily accesses more visualization. Tips. Some mouse drivers change with the middle button, scroll wheel settings to do other things off, and you can disable the special settings particular application if you want SolidWorks to work correctly. Still use the other functionality. For example, the most common problems with the mouse drivers is that when the model gets close to the sides, the graphic window and the scroll bars engage, the middle mouse button suddenly changes its function. It happens to you. You should change the function of the MMB or middle mouse button from the present setting. For visualization, you can buy any hardware that's quiet, as nice as possible. The Spaceball 3D mouse allows you to rotate one hand, select the other hand with the other hand, and a great customizing button. Depending on the model you get, it may have even keyboard buttons such as Alt, Escape, and Control right there at their device. Using arrow keys, you can use arrow keys on the keyboard to manipulate the view predictable with controllable ways. You can use Shift, Control, Alt keys to add to the behavior. The arrow keys enable you to rotate the following views. Arrow rotates 15 degrees. Customize setting change. Choose Tool Option View. Shift arrow rotate 90 degrees. Alt arrow rotate plane flat on the screen. Control arrow pan. Using middle mouse button. Most of if not all, mice sold today have middle mouse buttons, usually in the form of a clickable scroll wheel. Your middle mouse or scroll wheel is several useful uses viewing manipulation. Middle mouse button alone, rotate, click, or hover. Work on an edge, face, or vertex with the middle mouse button, and then drag middle mouse button, rotate around the selected etny. Control middle mouse button, pan, shift middle mouse button, zoom, double click mouse button, zoom to fit. Scroll the wheel, zoom in, zoom out, reverse direction, zoom setting, choose tool, option view, alt middle mouse button, rotate in plane flat to screen. When you're rotating the model with the view with the middle mouse button, you easily get into the state where it's hard to see. Use the rotate about the scene floor option. However, it makes it easier. Figure 5.2 show the option right mouse button menu. You may click on the documentation described as lock vertex axis. That does not do that. Lock vertex axis would be the model. We're sitting on a turntable to getting around with the rotate axis. Scene floor option seems to understand which way is up. It does not allow the view proceeding in such a way that the model gets turned upside down easily. It's possible for the more difficulty describing and writing than just trying it. Just try it. They must agree that you should have been a default method for rotation. Figure 5.2 use the rotate with the scene floor, and now we've looked at the and the zoom toolbar rotate about the scene floor on the selector heading. Change the floor position orientation. Go to Display Manager tab on the Feature menu area. Right click and select Edit Scheme. In the floor plan, you change the setting of the line in the floor with the selection box. Select for the appropriate plane or bottom view plane. As a caution, you may be prevented with accessing Edit Scenes Property Manager if you use the plan view part, background, color tools, options, colors, background, appearance. The use of the options of the determine the background into the H document rather than allowing each document to control its own background to access the scene options. You have to change the use of the document scene. Using mouse gestures. Mouse gestures are interference method that you customize to do anything in the SolidWorks toolbar that can do with the default with the control view orientation. Figure 5.3 shows the default configuration of the mouse gesture donut. It may take a little time for you to get used to the mouse gestures interface. It must be it works best when you understand what the commands as before you use them, so you can invoke them in the top view command in single motion without pausing to see where each command is located on the donut. For this reason, it may be better to limit the donut 4 commands rather than 8 or 12. Set it up relatively such that the top view right mouse button stroke up, right view is right mouse button stroke to the right, and so on. Alright, Figure 5 shows click and drag right mouse button to the access commands on the donut. You may customize mouse gestures, donut, and tools custom mouse gestures. This works with a keyboard hotkey customization where you turn gestures on and off, setting mouse gestures donut to 2, 4, 8, and 12 sections. Set any gesture designation a direction to available command. Using a view toolbar. View toolbar shown entirely in Figure 5.4 contain the tools you need to manipulate the view of the SolidWorks. Not all the available tools are on the toolbar by default, but I have added here for this image. To customize your own view toolbar, you must choose the tools customized from the menu and select the commands tab, and then click on the view toolbar and either drag items from the custom dialog box to the view toolbar or to add them from the view toolbar empty graphics area to remove them. You can use all these tools with hard assembly models, but only a few of them with the drawings. Toolbar hand tools to direct access to the standard name of the views, such as the front and top of the normal is called standard views toolbar, described later in this chapter. The added work-through tool is discussed more in Chapter 22, working with large-scale designs, and Chapter 23, animating with a motion manager. This means the creating of the animation for a large-scale design. Ambient occlusion option is covered with the chapter that simply adds the self-cast shadows to the model that work and look more realistic. It takes snapshots options, work like combination custom name view, display state. It allows you to return particular view with the assembly of the parts hidden or shown, as well as when you take the snapshot. You remain in snapshot until you click the button to exit it, much like isolate. You can find the save snapshots in the display manager on the Scene Lights Cameras tab. Filter Modify Components option makes any parts that have not been modified transparent, so when you have the opaque, when you see opaque, those are the parts that have been changed. Alright, Figure 5.4 shows view toolbar, view orientation, previous view, redraw, zoom fit, zoom to sheet, zoom to area, zoom in, zoom selection, view orientation, rotate, roll view, turn camera, 3D viewing, panning, display style, wireframe, hidden visibility, hidden lines, remove, shaded with edges, shaded, draw quality, HLR, HLV, perspective, shadow and showed mode, section view, camera, curvature, zebra stripes. Surface curvature combs, drafting analysis, undercut, parting lines analysis, real view graphics, apply scene, edit appearance, copy appearance, pass appearance, edit sketch, curve color, hide items, view planes, view line, section view, axis view, temporary view, origin, view coordinate system, view datum reference, frame, view curve, view sketch, view grid, view 3D sketch, view sketch dimensions, view all annotations, view dimension, viewpoints, viewpoint, routing points, view parting lines, viewing lights, viewing cameras, view decals, view sketches, the relation change display status, view simulation symbols, view weld beads, add walkthrough, ambient occasion, take snapshot, filter, modify components, view center or mass, view top of the level, annotation, view component, annotations, hide, show, primary lines, cartoon, simulation, display, view bounding box, previous view, zoom fit, zoom to sheet, zoom in and out, roll view, turn camera, shade with edges, camera view, and a copy appearance. Alright, editing scroll bars, splitters. Option exists for the scroll and add scroll bars, view pane, splitter for the graphics window, the user, the choose the tools, option, display, selection, display, scroll bars, and graphics view. This selection is grayed out and SolidWorks documents are open. You must close out SolidWorks document to change it. When you zoom in such a part or assembly drawing and partially off the screen, the scroll bars activate on the right side of the bottom of the SolidWorks window, enabling you to scroll up and down as well as left to right to pan the view. The scrolls and splitters are turned off by default. You can turn off one or the other, and scroll bars and splitters come in as a package deal. Figure 5.5 shows the detail bottom right corner SolidWorks graphics window where you find the scroll bars and splitters. Note for the cursor of the lower right, over one of the splitters. Splitters can be easy to miss if you don't know what they look like. Alright, show these scroll bar controls can be turned on and off. And it shows the splitter. Splitter enables the splitter of the main graphics window with the multi-view ports option with the 2 horizontal, 2 ports, visit vertical, and 4 ports, 2 horizontal, 2 vertical, and with a total of 4 view parts for the document. Splitters are located with the intersection scroll bar, lower right corner. Graphics window. Of course, you can see that using the icon view orientation box, splitting view with the 2 vertical points and 2 horizontal ports, or 4 ports. After viewport has been split, you can remove the split with a toolbar option. Toolbar icons either by dragging border back the edge of the display with double clicking on the split border. If your view has been split into 4, you can set it back to a single viewport with double clicking intersection horizontal vertical port borders. Using magnifying glass. You invoke the magnifying glass by pressing G or dismiss it when you select something when you press exit. Interchange with the hotkey associated with the choose of the tool's customized keyboard. Magnifying glass is listed in other category. Magnifying glass is intended to magnify a small area to view and enable you to make the more precision selection without zooming. Magnified area follow the cursor of the move. You can zoom in and zoom out. Scrolling with the middle mouse button. Control dragging the middle mouse button keeps the magnifying glass centered on the cursor. Resting all creates a section view parallel to the view current. Scrolling wheel with the Alt key, press move to the section plane farther away for the closer. Figure 5.6 shows magnifying glass in operation, cutting section view through a part. So figure 5.6 shows the magnifying glass's section view, and now we've moved into the Sturm Bible bike. Click the triad axis. Triad is a multi-colored coordinate axis lower left corner of SolidWorks graphics window. You usually passively have to see how the view is orientated to get X, Y, and Z reference and direction features that you need them. To use the triad effect, actively control the view orientation. Try the following. Click on the axis view, rotates points of the axis on the screen. Click axis second time, the axis points of the screen. Shift click axis to viewpoint, spins 90 degrees about the axis using right hand rule. Alt click and axis view spins 15 degrees default with a rotation angle around the axis. When you are named view, the name of the view is shown in the lower left corner under the triad. This includes standard name of the views and custom name views. Anything that shows up in the view orientation box axis with spacebar displays the name in the corner. Figure 5.7 shows the triad, the name of the view with the lower left hand corner. Shift click accessing triad review. His view is rotated in 90 degrees from the original form, so now you have the triad name view orientation. It shows the little box and the little XY thing camera. Orientation about the axis. Alt clicking rotates views around. Click axis view orientation increments set with the tool option views 15 degrees before by default. Pressing control conjunction with any of these causes the rotate with the opposite direction. Therefore, pressing shift click makes view rotating against right hand rule about clicked axis. Pressing control shift click makes the view rotate right hand rule. Using view tools. SolidWorks has many additional tools managing the view. They can easily access through the heads of the view toolbar with the right mouse button. Menu view orientation box with the normal toolbars on the menu. The tools section helps you with the control of the viewports and assembly. Following tools are mainly found with the view in the view display, view modified menu areas. You have zoom to fit that resizes the content graphics window that include everything that is shown with the model. You can also access the command pressing F and double clicking the middle mouse button. Zoom to error when you drag the direction diagonal over the rectangle with the display with the zoom to fit with the current window with the border size around with the fit area with the fix and cannot be adjusted. This only zooms in, not out. Zoom in and out. Drags mouse up with the drag with the zoom in and out respectively. You can also activate the command holding down the shift key with dragging up and down with the middle mouse button with the hot Z key, and shift Z work with the zoom out and zoom in respectively. The percentage of the shift zoom. If a fixed amount cannot be adjusted, you can use the scroll wheel zooming in and out, and if you just accustomed to using different CAD products, here where the scroll works the opposite way is setting exit with the tools option view. This allows you to reverse the functionality of the scroll wheel. Zoom to selection, resize with the screen with a fit with the selection. You can also with the command with the right button, right clicking, left clicking the feature of the menu. For example, if you select the sketch in the feature menu manager, right click and select zoom into selection. The viewpoints for the sketch for the middle screen. Resize the sketch to match the display. The view does not rotate with zoom to selection. Tip: a reciprocal function of zoom to selection enables you to find an item with a tree of the graphics window geometry with the right click of the face of the model. Then you can select the go-to feature entry with highlights of the parent feature of the function with a relegated by the expanding menu, so that you may have to click on the double arrow with the bottom of the right mouse button menu to see it. Zooms about screen center enables you to zoom straight in and out with the tools off the default. With the default baby, the zooming of the scrolling wheel works around with the cursor off the one side of the zooming in and out can cover the view to walk away from the side. That side turning on the zoom about the screen center is not dependent on the location of the cursor. If you're frustrated in how zooming of the scroll wheel works, try this setting to see if you like it better. The command is found only in the menu zoom modify and does not have an icon. Alright, now you're given on the left to show the rotate view enables you to orbit around the part assemblies using a left mouse button. You can also access the command using the middle mouse button without the toolbar icon. Roll view spins the view on a planar screen similar to a rotate view with an alt key. And then you have the arrowhead crosshair hand, the scroll view flat screen, dragging the mouse. You can access this command, holding on the control key and dragging the middle mouse button without using the toolbar for another icon. Access the control arrow. Then it shows a 3D drawing view, enables you to rotate the model with a drawing view to make the selection would otherwise be difficult and possibly available only with the drawing of the documents. View orientation, standard views, flyout, toolbar, view orientation discussed later in this chapter. Flyout enables you to access standard views toolbar. This button also called the view orientation flyout depending on where you see it. Wireframe displays model edges without shade face, no edges are hidden. Hidden line visible, display with model edges without shape face with edges that would be hidden displayed in the front. Hidden lines removed, HLR, display with the model edges without shaded faces, edge of the hidden part removed from the display. Shade with edges, the model display with a shading edge of the using the hidden lines removed. The edges can be only a single color then set when the tools option color, typically black, or they may be sketch. Shaded color of the part tools option document properties colors is where the document specific setting to use same colors for shaded with wireframe display, which become very useful in assembly with all the parts shown in the wireframe same color where they are shaded instead of all being black. Shaded the model displayed as shading edges are not shown. Shadows and shaded mode. Model displayed shadow, a shadow displayed on the plane parallel to the floor, establishing a scene. Shade is not necessary on the floor, but on the plane further extent of the model parallel to the floor. Section view. This section displays a model figure 5A shows the section view command at work. You can use up to 3 section planes at once. Solid surface models as well, but the assemblies can be sectioned. You can use spin boxes, enter numbers manually, drag arrows. They attach section plane. Move the section through the model. Section planes can be also rotated. Dragging border of the plane perhaps can be omitted from the cut parent parts of the can be transparent. You can show the cut caps or leave cuts looking how, and it shows a sectioning a 3D model. But click the checkmark icon. Section view property manager enables you to continue working selecting section model. Although you may not be able to reference edges and faces created in section view, it's only displayed section, but the actual geometry is not cut. Section views can be saved either with a view orientation box or annotation view folder, which enables 3D section views to reuse by the drawing when you are working with section view. If you want to alter, you can access modify section view through the menus view, modify section view. You should notice that the toolbar icon exists. From modifying a section view, you have to access the command through the menu for the turning off of the section view tool, then turning it back on. You may also notice the modifying section view is available with a hotkey assignment area Tools customized hot keyboard. The orange interface elements allow you to move the rotate section, which can also be done property manager. Note the many of the options for the property manager you can select. You can section by 2D planes as cutting planes by 3D zones, bounding boxes segmented within solid zones and section plane. I encourage you to experiment with this tool to see what you can do with it. Real view, this creature more realistic, real reflective term displayed for advanced material selections. This feature does not work with all graphics hardware, so check Solidworks system requirements website to see if it supports your hardware. An entire section of this chapter is devoted with the various tools available to reveal view graphics. Cartoon applied with a cartoonish, less restricted, realistic appearance to the model. It creates a harsh lighting with a different type of shadow that does not rely on shadow settings. It's an effect where you may want to experiment, especially when using edge and silhouette edge displayed on the option. Ambient occlusion. Option displayed shadows to the parts cast itself. Particularly useful for the part assembly with the interior air that can be used seen from outside of the model. The interior air will be shown with the shadows where the settings may affect the performance, especially large assemblies. Alright, the view bounding box. This option enables you to display with a bounding box, insert reference geometry, bounding box. The bounding box includes the entire model part only, like the edge of the cube created with a Phantom Line 3D sketch. Applying scene enables you to apply scene to your document background. It may also turn off system background color you are using. Edit appearance enables you to apply edit colors, textures, materials, faces, bodies, feature parts, and components. Copy appearance enables you to copy the appearance of the model to the clipboard. Paste appearance enables you to paste the copied appearance to the model. Draft undercut parting line analysis displays unable to evaluate the manufacturer of the plastic cast part of these three types of geometry access display. Discuss more detail. Chapter 12, editing, evaluating, troubleshooting. Simulating display if models contain result of the stress analysis button will allow you to display the results of your model. Alright, the guy with the arrow goes through the walkthrough, helps you create animation, records a movie as if you were walking through the part assembly. The back and forth circles change display states. Display helps you to retain visual displaying settings for the document. This tool enables you to switch between stored states. And then the eyeball hides all types of icons, pictures of the eye that can be used, showed, or hide. The depicted an icon includes plane, axis, sketch, curved relations, parting lines, decals, and so on. You can access the icon quickly through heads-up view toolbar of the eye icon in its own hide all types, and toggles each of the individual setting. Alright, zebra stripe in curvature. Zebra stripes are another geometrical analysis that helps you visualize the quality of translation because in between faces and across edges. The simulates perform putting a perfectly reflective part of the cylindrical room where the zooms are painted with a black and white stripe at the high end of the shape of the design. Surface the quality measured quality of the use of the light reflection from the surface. Reflecting strips make the easier visualized translation between the face across the edge of the non-smooth. Zebra stripes can help you identify the three cases, figure 3-9. Contact. Face intersect with the edge but not tangent across the edge, such for the edges of the cube. The conditions exist where the stripe does not don't line up across the edge. Tangent face of the tangent across the edge but have different radii curvature on either side of the edge, not curvature continuous, such as between a fillet face and adjacent face. This condition exists with stripe lines up across the edge, but the stripe is not a tangent to itself across the edge. Curvature continuity face either side of the edge of the tangent may match and radius of the curvature. Zebra stripes are smooth and tangent across the edge. Alright, so figure 9 shows zebra stripes that help you visualize the qualities of the curvature, and then it has settings, environment, zoom stripes, width and color of the zoom stripes, and you can change the color to horizontal and vertical stripes. Figure 3-9 vertical zebra stripes example do not match across the edge labeled A at all. The clearly non-tangent contact only for the case. Example B show the stripes match into the position going across the indicated edge, change the direction immediately. This is the tangent case. Example C show the stripes following smoothly across the edge. This curvature continuous case. You can use the remaining icon view toolbar toggle to display various types of either reference geometry of the sketch. Curvature colors model with the various colors depending on the local surface curvature of the mathematical curvature. Inverse radius of the C, the 1 over the radius. Large radius, the small curvature of the vice versa. Generally model that you're looking for the curvature. You are looking for a sudden change of flat spots, continuous rays, inflections. Figure 510 shows model of a cricket bat with a curvature displayed, and figure 310 shows curvature displayed helps you evaluate properties and smoothness, and show the curvature, and then the lights, the colors. You can control the colors, various curvature values, the tools, option, document properties, model, display curvature, even the table shown in figure 510. View orientation, dialog box, standard views, toolbars are very similar to one another. View orientation, more modern interface, view orientation, dialog box, and the view selector shown in figure 511. 511 shows the view orientation, dialog box, view selector. And then the UCS is isometric, and it shows the different face of the cube as if it was in a cube. It has view selector, independently view orientation, dialog box, control space, access to the standard view toolbar, view selector, graphic name view, select various angle, the unnamed views, giving you visual preview for selection, view orientation, dialog box, contain following controls. Show the push pin that keeps the dialog box active, the piping telescope with a spot on it next to the new custom named view, rotating pipe, update standard view with the current view with a new front view. All the other views update relative to the change. These updates associated drawings must be done on moving geometry, change plane orientation. Alright, the rotate with a line in it on the pipe view, reset standard views, reset standard view, the front view looks normal to the front plane, plane 1, XY plane, and then the arrow to the pipe, the previous view, you undo view change, connects the tool pressing the default hotkey control, shift control Z, and then you're playing with an arrow up, or arrow pointing up to it is a normal to option, it has 4 mode operations. First mode, nothing selected, normal to find the nearest orthogonal view. Second mode, click the pane or plane interface 2D sketch, where you click the name to and view the orientation of the selected plane face, etch and zoom to fit the model in the view. The method shown in figure 512. Figure 512, using normal to an angled face, selected face, and you've now selected the face. Using normal to selected second selection defined from the top. Third mode is click normal to the second time, and this view rotates 180 degrees, display with the opposite direction. Fourth mode, after selecting the first selection, control, select another planar entity. The view is normal to the first selection, second selection rotated to the top. This method is shown in figure 513. Annotation views. Annotation videos are enabled to grow annotation with made with a 3D model, and the views will be used for the drawing collected with the annotation folder. The feature manager for parts assembly annotation views created automatically with the 3D annotations are added. Created manually on assigned items. The annotation view acts as a catch-all for annotation that not assigned to any particular views of the 3D model. Can use views to reorientate model of the display annotations mentioned earlier. Annotation views can capture a model selection view with the be shown with the drawing view. Annotation views listed in the annotation folder, feature manager of the document where they are created. Right-click the annotation folder, provide all the options for annotation view. Annotation views are shown in Chapter 5, sample casting part in Figure 514. 514 shows the annotation views, Chapter 5, sample casting solid part. Using Display Manager organizes display visual information format that makes it easier to understand with control of the Display Manager. List appearances, decals, scenes, lights, and cameras. You can find the Display Manager at the top of the tab of the Feature Manager window area. Figure 512 show the appearance data for the part of the material color applied to the two faces of the features. Now you've looked at the using Display Manager appearance, which is the circle, the ball with the 4 colors. You can do this history, alphabetically, historically, hierarchically. Appearance, Solidworks, combination, color, and texture. In order to appearance display, scroll the Display Manager you made. First appearance, if there must be an appearance that look like idealized parts in real life. Remember that the materials are applied separately and control physical properties of density, strength, and so on. Appearance deals with cosmetic properties, polish, cast, kernel, machine, sand, blast, other surfaces of the inch type. They are able to add realism to your model. Applying appearances, you can apply appearance to the face body of the feature part of the assembly component, even with the top level. Even if you don't apply with appearance, every part of the assembly template starts with the default appearance, except as very old templates, which is white, glossy plastic. You can apply appearance in several ways. Double-clicking the appearance of the appearance panel with the task pane applies the appearance of the document part assembly. Drag and drop. Dragging an appearance for the appearance panel with the task pane enables you to drag the geometry graphics window. When you do this, the appearance on the palette pops over the problems and you several options. Figure 6, 5, 16 show the toolbar with the option of face, feature, and body part. You have face, feature, body part, and then the appearance, and then the pin. Appearance palette. If you pin the appearance palette, the workflow reverses and select the type of the entity that you want to apply with appearance select model faces. Appearance filter. The appearance filter enables you to change all items given the appearance of the new appearance. Just drag with the new appearance onto the any of the face for the odd appearance. Click with the appearance feature filter when it appears. All other items with a particular appearance are changed with the new appearance. Context toolbar. You can also invoke the appearance function with the context bar. Left click, right click. You can do the pre-selection, non-selection method. Also gives you the option of the target to which they apply appearance feature, face, feature, body, or part. Figure 517 show this method. Determining target appearance on the drag and drop. You can copy an appearance with the display manager on the model onto the model to distinguish between copying geometry, copying appearance. The appearance of the copying shortcut is Control Shift Key C. The appearance of the paste cut shortcut Control Shift V. Differentiating appearance materials. It's easy to confuse the appearance of material. The biggest reason is that for many cases, the appearance of the same name of the material, the textures associated with the appearance typically also have the name material. Solidworks and appearance for the name, such as the high-gloss plastic, wrought iron, chromium plate. It may become even more confusing to cover the material, which you can assign with the feature manager on the left, and appearance when you assign with the task pane on the right, assign to them. For the example, you could assign an appearance called polished aluminum to a material called AIS 304. You can use appearances to assign mass properties for the density, stiffness of the part, but you can use material to assign appearances as well as mass property to the part. Figure 518 shows the right mouse button menu editing material will invoke the material folder feature manager. So now we've right mouse button in the edit material folder of the feature manager, and we've become with the edit material figure material, manage favorites, plain carbon, cast oil, and all the different kinds of material, common sideshow tree, items, collapse item, customized menu. Materials assign properties for the part with the drawing hash mass properties as well for the simulation. Notice the figure 519 second tab allows you to assign appearance to the material. You can use the interface to create your own custom materials automatically and apply appearances to your parts. So figure 519 shows editing, the creating of the custom materials. Now we've gone into material and we've looked at different properties, values, units, descriptions, substance, model type, unit category. Comes with properties, appearance, crosshatch, custom, application data, and then steel, list of appearances, understanding appearances. Appearances made with a combination color with illumination property, surface finish, image mapping setting, control. All these options interface with the appearance of the property manager shown figure 520. To exit the interface, click the appearance icon with the heads up view toolbar with the click and advance button at the top of the property manager. You can adjust the default appearance with the install with the SolidWorks. You can apply them to the model. For example, you can apply the shining reflective appearance of the stainless steel. Then adjust the color to blue or red. You can apply with the cast iron appearance with an increase with the roughness. You might be able to be brushed. You might apply brushed aluminum appearance chain with the direction of brush lines. You can apply with reflective glass appearance, reduce the reflectivity, and increase the transparency. You might apply kernel steel appearance with the cylindrical part with adjust the mapping. The curled image does not smear improperly across the face. Figure 521 show the contents over the color, image mapping, illumination, surface finish, tabs, appearances, property manager, where you can adjust all these settings and more. Understanding overrides, keeping track of the color appearance of the SolidWorks can be difficult. Many users have a difficult understanding one color overrides another color, how to remove the layers of the applied colors of the appearance. Functionality is called overrides. The hierarchy SolidWorks uses applying colors appearance listed from the lowest priority to the highest default, and then part, and then 520 show the controlling component appearances. We've now went to the color, and then display, yes, check X or panel, basic badge, illumination, surface, face, color, image, or mapping. And then we were given a part and a face, a plane, all the shaded, or the fillet extrusion, appearance file path, and then give the image in brown safe appearance body feature face component assembly. You should read the list of the words as overridden by between the items. As you can see, with the default appearance of the override and anything else with the appearance that apply with the assembly overrides everything else. Figure 515 display manager showed the color appearance of the list of the history, which refer to the order of which they were added to the model. Figure 522 showed the appearance of the sort of the hierarchy using an order with the established override sort order drop-down list allows you to select with a history hierarchy alphabetical sorting. Appearances can be difficult to understand. The best way to visualize them is to use the visual view appearances tab of the display manager showed previously. Display plan layout from the feature manager is tempting, but is incomplete. It does not show the appearances applied with the face because individual faces are not listed in the feature manager unless they are all bodies or some features and sound complicated. Right? If the view appearances of the tab of the display manager, you will have to have access appearances applied in your parts and assemblies. So now we're adjusting the display on the property of the appearance of the property manager. And we've got color, image, mapping, illumination, surface. And the first one you see the color, the shape, and then illumination, remove the appearance file, and then show the separate mapping, color, illumination, dynamic help, specific set. The other one shows a bitmap, color bitmap, and then we have reflection, colors, illumination. Also, alternatively, you select the face of the proper various layers of paint applied to it. You can do this by clicking the beach ball icon on the context toolbar. You can clear the picture of the various layers of the paint applied with the face you selected. Sorting appearance of the colors of the hierarchy. You now have selected the beach ball. Using appearance for the display states. Display states allows you to have the name set for the display setting of the parts and assembly, which are covered with the detail of the chapter. You also need to understand the configuration, chapter 11, working with the part configuration, the complete grasp for the appearance of the display state. You can assign the appearances to apply with the display state, just the current display state. The display state in turn can be linked to unlinked configurations. Some display property, such as colors, can be controlled by the configuration control appearances, and colors display states configurations can be involted at best. This is a warning that the mixing change of the four items of the result change colors that either remove nor apply, and difficult to say how much of the due to bugs and how much is due to convoluted logic to many sources of control. You control the setting of the display state to which appearance of the change applies. You do this by display states panel, the very bottom appearance property manager. Alright, now we're looking at control appearance display states and configuration display states. You can find the display states interference at the bottom of the configuration management as shown in figure 523. Removing appearances, you can think of multiple appearances applied with the overrides for the part of the older chair with the many layers of paint. In this case, you remove the layers of paint with a one by one until you get down to the base material, which in this case is the default with the white plastic. Look at figure 520 and notice for the red X to the right of the each entity face feature body of the part, another one at the bottom. Each red enables you to remove one or more layers of paint from this part. You can remove the appearance applied with the level just by clicking the red X. By clicking the bottom of the red X, remove the overrides, all face feature, body part, and other colors that have been applied. Assign the default appearance from the part that you may want to open part with www.wiley.com. Go master solids because the book is black and white and it does not convey color well. The part name is chapter 5 bracket override solid print. Moving appearance of the part, or part, solid part, PRT. So you have these, move all appearances, and you can remove them, and by pushing the X. You can assign the default appearances, in part assembly template with a shading of the name of the reflecting material. Alternatively, you can assign the existing part to assign the reassigning appearance with the appearance scene. And decal tabs for the task pane. Find any of the appearance you like. Right click it in figure 525 show the menu that appears. So we're assigning a default appearance. We went to and de-drag the appearance of the model. Feature alt drag it immediately. We've added appearance, copy appearance, select default appearance. To save the appearance of the part template, assemble the default assembly with the empty part of the document setting with the default appearance empty with the parts as part of the template with the indicate the appearance. You may also want to assign the corresponding material. Using decals. Decal image applied with a part of the rendering software. All decals modeled with the list of the decal area of the display manager that apply with the decal. You can also do the appearance. Seeing decals tab of the task pane action for the stock of the sample image, and you can right click on the open area of the decal display manager. Select add decal that brings up the decal property manager shown in figure 526. Alright, working with decals. Property manager, you have image mapping and illumination. In the image, you show the decal preview, image file path, masking, image mask file, select the color mask, use decal alpha channel, display states, display state, all displays, secondary display states. And then in mapping, it gives you the face, the plane, the shaded, and the extruded surfaces. Mapping reflection, select the reference face number to the left, to the right, and up. Side orientation, fixed aspect ratio, width selection, height, frame, dimensions, degrees, mirror, horizontal, vertical, and you can reset the scale. Illumination, dynamic help, underlining, appearance, diffuse, amount, specular, color, specular speed, blurriness, reflection amount, review only, blurry, transparent, luminous, intensity. Alright, you can use the bitmap, JPEG, or the TIF, or the PNG image for the decals in SolidWorks. The images could be mapped on flat, cylindrical face. So you can make mask images with an alpha channel. Create transparent parts for the decal. You can also select the color image through the transparency. Only the tip of the part PNG images can use alpha channel transparency. You can size the position, rotate the decal screen with the handle that's shown in figure 527, and use any of the corner nodes of the image of the reside with the decal. Dragging anywhere inside of the image border, move the decal, drag with the orange ring around the image, rotates it, and the decal can also emit light. So now we have a sizing position with a decal, and it's been put on the side with the SolidWorks using a scene and lights camera. Scene and lights camera. The scene and lights camera is important for the visualizing rendering. Rendering is not covered in this book because of Photo View 360 and Visual SolidWorks Visual, not part of SolidWorks standard package. The scene light and cameras display manager shown figure 528. Using scene lights and camera display. Scene lights camera walkthrough, and you see the scene lights and camera button. Controlling scenes. In SolidWorks, the scene is composed of three things: background, which may be the image, gradient, and color of the floor on which the shadow and the reflections are cast. The environment, which wrap around the 3D image, are HDRI, high dynamic range image that provides light with the modeling of the rendering will reflect the model of the highly reflective material. If the environment is hidden, you can only see only the background. You can hide the floor so that there are shadows, reflection, and the model will appear in a hanging space. Beware is a small square image shown on each of the plane with a task plane with thumbnail. Rendering the scene does not reflect how the scene will look in the graphics window. For the most of this book, I've used the plain white scene. Floor's environmental appears on when you do render. If you want to remove the shadow of the model window while using view setting icon heads up view toolbar to do this, shown in figure 529. Alright, figure 529 turns off shadow modeling mode. You got real view graphics, shadow and mode, ambient occlusion, perspective, and cartoon. When using a real view display, you can take advantage of the special setting called the ambient occlusion with a combination SolidWorks model with the through shadows of itself. The holes of the panel that appears shadow gives some of the effect of the rendering, but it's just the real view display. Ambient occlusion has some of the limitation. For example, it does not show shadows on the part while rotating. Only when you stop rotating the part with the draft quality. Ambient occlusion found on the tiles option display only works with a shaded mode without edges. Figure 530 show the part with the various ambient occlusion setting. The ambient occlusion does slow down when the graphic performance SolidWorks, but it can also help part look more realistic without having the time taking the time to do the rendering, depending on the graphic card of the workstation. Real view and ambient occlusion and other advanced graphic settings may or may not noticeably affect display calculation time, and best practice is, of course, to work without the advanced settings unless they do not affect the performance. In figure 530 show the ambient occlusion scene, give it the realistic shadows. You have the ambient occlusion and draft quality ambient occlusion, no ambient occlusion. If you want to turn off reflection floor with the modeling, you can apply with the basic scene of the turn off of the reflective floor of the scene property. Shown in Figure 531 here, you can also perform common tasks that align with the floor with a different plane with the offsetting of the floor, adjusting the brightness of the scene. To apply scene documentation, you can use the appearance scene with the decal tabs of the task plane with expand with the scene's heading, choosing basic studio, presentation, or presentation scenes. Double-click dragging scenes with the graphic area. Note the difference between the basic studio and presentation scene. Basic scenes are used only on the background color. Studio scenes are in gradient color background. Presentation scenes are HDRI image of the image that rotate with the part as you rotate the view. Figure 531 shows scene property manager, allows you to turn off the reflective floor. SolidWorks scenes can be either document or system property. The document property for the default, with the meaning that each of the document have a different scene with the scene with the travel with the document open with a different previews. If they override with the default, the system opens. Option tools, option color chain with the background appearance, select the plane, gradient, or image, which gives controls scene with the local computer with the document that has been saved with the document scene with it open with the computer set to either the system scene, the system overridings, and with the document settings. If you right-click on the scene over the scene manager, the SolidWorks will prompt you with a message: change any system setting with the document scene. Turning on the lights. All models have an ambient light. If there's no light, you wouldn't be able to see the model. Additional light types are direct point, spot, and sunlight. Have the lights right-clicking on lights fold the display manager, selecting one of the new light options shown in Figure 532. So if you now right-click on the lights and scene lights and current, that you can show light, edit all lights, add directional spot, point, add sunlight, collapse item, collapse all, expand all, customize menu. The light appears in icon 3D space with the drag around. You can also use the property manager editing light key with the X, Y, and Z location, light source, direction. Lights edited scenes can be turned on and off with SolidWorks tip. Use a combination of rotating view, moving the light icon in 3D space. You can use the lock to model option. Light moves to the model when you rotate the model. Ambient setting raises the overall brightness of the part. The brightness setting refers to just the light is speculatory slider controls how light shines and creates hotspots on curved face models. You can even edit the color of the light to give the part of the two-tone effect. Lighting effects are more dramatic in curved parts, but this is why they may add even small fillets to the rectangular mold that can help make a part look more realistic presentation purposes. Figure 533 compares the model with the fillet edge of the model with the perfectly sharp edges of the model. The fillets are displayed with a real view ambient occlusion to the look more realistic. Figure 533 shows the difference between appearance with fillets and part with sharp corners. Materials can also be set up with a light in situations where you might want to have a light bulb LED panel, car tail light in the model. Working with cameras, you create with the camera the right mouse button, menu, scenes light, and camera display manager shown in Figure 534. You can add a camera interface display with the property manager shown in Figure 535. In the interface, you can position with the camera object by dragging the triad, reset with the field with the view box, the control of the field. App view panel with the property manager graphic window. You can use the left panel target position of the camera, right plan show the view through the camera. Get the most lifelike perspective of the lens setting of the 50mm, shorter distance priorities to the wide angle of the fisheye lens effect. Large settings may look like a telephoto lens. If it should be noted, the perspective SolidWorks works much differently when the SolidWorks perspective setting based on how many objects you may want to work you are away from the model. For example, the model approximately 2 feet tall, you would set your perspective to multiples of 2, so 3 model lengths would be 6 feet. Depth field view panel camera property manager is now shown because it requires photo view to be installed. Depth of the field can be objects outside of the focus or slightly out of the focus, which can greatly add the realism to their renders. Figure 534 shows adding a new camera with the camera property manager. We've got a camera. It gives you camera type, aim, target, floating, show numerical controls, lock position, camera position, step and editing, target point by selection, camera position by selection, cylindrical or Cartesian in dimension, how far away, camera rotation, field of perspective, your millimeters, and then O and L and H, whatever those stand for. Aspect ratio, width and height, and drag aspect ratio. Or you can position a camera with the split windows, and now you've seen the camera, like what it looks like. So we've got this picture over here on the right. Use the three messages to switch graphics window with the camera view, exit view, orientation dialog box, pressing spacebar. View orientation dialog box, camera view icon appears only if there is a camera in the model. Alternatively, go to the right mouse button, camera with the lights and camera and scene folder, feature manager. Be aware that there are two separate tools, camera view cameras. They look almost identical except the view cameras have a small eye in one corner of the icon, and view cameras allows you to see placement of the camera. Camera view allows you to see what the camera sees. When you select a view with the camera view with the regularly rotate view command does not function. Rotating the view means that moving the camera. You can move the camera by editing the camera properties. You can reposition the camera, dragging the triad. You can rotate the view while looking at the camera using the tool or turn camera tool. Camera view, the views model through the camera can use the camera for these purposes. View modeling from a particular point, create rendering perspective, depth of the field, the focus or blur feature available only with a photo view 360 installed. Animate position target with the point view of the animation. This feature is available only with the motion study active with the creative view inside of the cavity, other occluded area. Then show the turn off icon, turn camera, the turn camera that enables you to rotate the camera view lock and looking through the camera without editing camera properties, but you must be looking through the camera and it must be unlocked for this to work. Dragging the middle mouse button does the same thing if the camera is unlocked. Alright, cube with the lightning bolt draw hidden lines removed, hidden lines visible, toggle between low quality draft and high quality edge, hidden lines removed, hidden line visible to display. These settings affect the display speed of the complex part. Large some of the draft quality mode and edge display may be inaccurate. Or the extruded parallelogram on the left show the perspective display of the model with the perspective view with the using camera. If you want to create a perspective view on the drawing, you must create a custom view of the view orientation dialog box perspective selected. Adjust the perspective of the view, modify perspective by adjusting relative to the distance of the model with the point of view. Relative to the distance is measured by the side of the bounding box of the model. Therefore, if the model fits into the box by about roughly 12 inches on the side of the perspective set is 1-to-1. Point of the view is roughly 12 inches from the model. With a more accurate perspective, you can use the camera. Caution. Perspective view and sketching do not work well together. Sketch dimensions look distorted. Incorrect perspective view turned on. Recommended disabling perspective view when sketching. Or using real view. Real view is display technology behind the fancy appearance of the SolidWorks models, such as the ambient occlusion, reflective material shadow, the reflection light, depending on the real view. Turn off the real view. If you do not have the hardware with the support, you can give it a great display. Real view does not affect rendering, just the live display. Check for the system requirements listed at the SolidWorks website. Information about whether your video card supports real view. You can use the real view as diagnostic tool. Smooth transition between surfaces because of the real view appearance. Apply with the reflective surface to the part. Apply with the reflective background. Essential when what the zebra stripes functionality is doing, but the zebra stripes apply specifically relative to the background, reflective background, to make examining curvature continuity across edges more straightforward. You can turn real view on or off by using shine sphere icon view settings of the head-up view toolbar. If the gray icon is grayed out, your system is not equipped with an appropriate real view capable graphics card. The display pane flies out with the right side of the feature manager display with a quick list for the any of the appearance transparent show with a hidden assign and also hidden parts of the body assemble the multi-party parts. The display pane shown in figure 536. Display pane allows you to control the display elements of the SolidWorks model. So now we've gone to the display pane and the parts and show that over here, show the SolidWorks realistic, check shaded, and over here on the right. The tool to some extent the duplicate display manager provides the quick summary of the most display information, including wireframe shape of the display mode, transparency, hide, show state, color. Works with both parts and assembly with a high viable tool between the display manager and the display pane. You can easily manage one of the most confusing areas of the SolidWorks and software appearance. Applying color automatically to the features. You can use the setting found with tool option document properly the model display to the automatic color certain type of the features, specific colors For example, you color all the shell's features red as you create them. Function worked intermittently for many years. For example, you can use the assign boss features also as always be red. That works. You can also assign surface feature that allows you to be yellow if the work extrude the revolve of the plane or offset loft or sweeps over the but not boundary fill the rule. Using edge display settings. Earlier in chapter 1 we discussed shade edge display style. Sometimes in the method you use the set of the break, see the breaks in between the faces. Especially feel it's especially useful for the assembly when the parts are different colors. Take this one step further. Utilize the tangent edge setting. These settings are found with the view. In the display menu with the heads up view toolbar. The settings are tangent edge visible. The setting display with tangent edge and solid lines just like all other edges. Tangent edge or phantom setting displays tangent edge as phantom line font. Tangent edge remove the setting display with the only non-tangent edges. Tangent edge remove setting leaves part looking silhouette. I prefer the phantom setting because it easily distinguishes between edge actually looks like the edge on an actual part of the edge. Serve only to break up the face of the model. The tangent edge visible setting conveys no additional information. Default setting. Figure 537 shows a sample part of the tangent edge and phantom tangent edge. Visible tangent edge are removed and shaded. No tangent edge respectively. So from here to left, right. Tangent edge phantom has the line still in it, and then it shows the tangent edge with visible, tangent edge removed, and then shaded. Alright, tutorial for applying visualization techniques. Visualization key factor. Working with Solidworks software, you're working with the present design, customer management, simple checking the design. Being able to see the model varies and important tutorial guides when using several tools and techniques. If the part name chapter 5 sample solid part is not already open it from the download material of the chapter. The open and change that have been made with the choice of the file. Reload. Okay. Practice some of the control of the rotating zoom part. In addition to the zoom toolbar option, you use the Z and Shift Z zoom in and out respectively. Arrow key with control arrow, shift arrow, and alt arrow combination. Use the middle mouse button. Select the straight edge of the part. Drag it with the middle mouse button. This rotates the part and select it. It needs to apply with the technique of selecting a vertex or flat face. Note the technique described in step 3 works only on rotate about scene floor is disabled. Forward, select the name of the part with the top of the feature manager. Use the beach ball pencil. Click edit appearance bottom of the heads up view toolbar at the top of the graphics window. Click the color you want the favorite panel. Model should change the color. Click with the drag with the cursor over the colors and feature the model change the color with the drag or each new with the color with the off the drag and appearing with the task pane. Figure 538 show the interference with the 12 of the bottom methods. If the color panel is not expanded, click with the double arrow with the right to expand it with this color. You want to continuous color map again. Clicking and dragging with the cursor with a part of the chain with the color continuous. 8. Create a swatch, which is the favorite panel. We'll create a new swatch button. Call the new swatch color Bible colors. Select the color property for the continuous map. The add select the color button becomes active with clicking the bottom. Adds the color to the swatch palette. You can add some of the colors to the palette as you view your favorites later. Tip: you can set the color again later by selecting Bible colors from the drop down list. The favorite panel which can transfer the color for the computer. Solidworks installed by coming from Bible colored solid DLCR, which is a directory, SolidWorks installation directory, language English. You've installed the language folder. 10. If the appearance move with the transparent slide with the right end and watch the part become transparent. Figure 538 show the color property manager, appearance task pane, and basic, and then show the appearances and scenes and details. Has a standard color and select appearance color or texture. Red, button, green, and blue. For an appearance window for the closing to prevent the appearance window from closing after every change, click the push pin at the top of the window. Click green check mark icon to accept change with the note that the push pin icon select the window remains available. Expand fly feature manager up left corner graphics window as shown figure 539. All feature for the parts are visible. Select feature for the extrude 1 fillet 7 fillet 6 feature manager so that there display the selection. This color feature manager. Select the color from the Bible color swatch palette that you just created. Check with the check mark with into icon to accept changes. Create selection list. Select inside face of the large cylindrical hole through the part. Assign a separate color to the face. Flyout Manager 539 shows the Flyout Manager. We're in features, basic flat parts, basic colors, and flyout history. Check the check mark icon to accept the changes. Click the red icon to exit the command. Expand the display upright area of the feature manager. You can see the color transparency symbol, the overall part of the color symbol, the three features. There's no indication of face colors to apply. Remove the colors. Open the appearance of the window again. We'll select the feature three features. Extrude one fillet, 7 fillet, 6. Go to the remove the color button below the selection list. Do the same with the color face cylindrical hole. Return the part with transparency to fully opaque. Click the checkmark icon to accept changes. Check the edge display shades with the edges. Change the wireframe mode. Finally, change beige shade with the edges. Use display style. Drop down with the heads up view toolbar to cycle through the edge display options. Using tangent edge or fathom setting quickly. Easy way to look up the model to determine whether the face transition is a tangent. It does not help to distinguish between tangency and curvature continuity. You need to use zebra stripes first for that. Alright, switch back to shaded display. If you do not have the real view capable computer, switch the step and skip this step. Ensure the real view bottom of the reveal table. Click the appearance scheme tab of the task of the pane with the right with the graphic appearance metal sheet and metal steel in the lower pane. Scroll down, cast carbon steel appearance. 25. Turn the patterns over to select the bottom face of the drag drop down appearance from the task pane. All appearances adjust for the bottom face of the pop up toolbar. The appearance surface of the part should be retained small semi-reflective surface as shown with figure 550. Click the checkmark into an acceptance change. Figure 550 shows applying an appearance to a face. Figure 26 show the section view bottom of the view toolbar. Drag layer over the middle of the section plane back and forth with the cursor. Move this dynamically through the part is shown figure 541. You can also rotate the section various axis plays around with the field with the capabilities of the command. Applying the section view to the model and then selecting checkbox with the section 2 panel name. Create a second section that is perpendicular to the first. Click the green check mark accept the section. Notice that while the section view of the property manager real view material does not display, after you close the dialog box, real view returns video. For more tutorial-based information working visualization tool, see video tutorials included with the download data and widely chapter. Alright, the bottom line, visualization, one of the most important tools of SolidWorks visualization. Key function SolidWorks software, use the tool multiplied times an hour. In some cases, constantly throughout the day, the visualization can be ended with itself by showing up the design vendor of the client. It can be a means of ending using visualization techniques, analyzing, evaluating model. In both cases, SolidWorks presents you with an astounding list of to be accomplished with the task. The tools range from the analytical to the cosmetic. Some of the tools have multiple uses. Master it. Practice using the keyboard. Move the display controls, including areas, modifier keys, the orientation block with the control spacebar. Manipulate with the view using each of the tools. Be acquainted with the names of all the tools in the toolbar. Use the mouse to hover over the heads of the view toolbar. Make sure to look at the drop down and fly out. Master it. Use display manager to task plan access for all the information tools on appearance. Apply appearances, visual properties to the mold. Make sure that you use the display pane fly out with the feature manager to quickly access the appearance apply with your part. Master acquaint yourself with all the settings available to tools option colors display. Do not forget the setting of the tools option document properties. Model display. Create templates for the with background and visual properties you want to use. Part 2, building intelligence into your parts.